Wow, she speaks really well. Did you hear how amazing her voice sounded?
I wish I could sing like that. He sounded amazeballs.
Hey divas! Today's video is all about communicating better and optimizing your vocals, using special techniques and strategies to get the most out of your voice. It's going to be jam-packed today with practical techniques to help you along, and as always, it's going to be fun. So when we talk about communication, it is an essential part of life when it comes to your work, going for job interviews, even in your personal life, in your relationships. That's probably where it plays the most vital role, because you are trying to communicate to your partner, your parents, your siblings. You're trying to convey a message across. Every single one of us at some point in our lives has been misunderstood and could look back and think about situations where maybe you wished you had conveyed the message clearer. Maybe you wish you had communicated better. So here we understand that communication is actually a skill that can be learned, a skill that can be tweaked and improved upon. And because communication is something so important for us all as human beings, it is definitely a subject worth looking into. It is definitely something worth improving upon and a skill worth learning. So the exercises we're going to go over today are going to help you not only communicate better, but also optimize your vocals, meaning using what you've got to the best of their ability. I am going to also link a video which was really helpful by Julian Treasure. It was actually a TED Talk where he discusses communication and improving on your vocals. So you might want to give that one a watch as well. I'll link that in the description box below. First up, definitions. Definitions of certain words are really important so that you can assign meaning to them. If you can assign meaning to them, you understand what these definitions mean and how it relates to your voice. So I am going to give you a few definitions with examples so that you can understand what they mean and then recognize them in your own voice when you pick up these different things. I think one of the most important ones is your speaking register. So first up, let's start with that one, okay? When we talk about your register, right now I'm speaking from a very deep speaking voice, natural, normal kind of tone. But if I have to change it up a bit, then you would be able to recognize the difference in how I speak then as compared to here how I am speaking now. You might not really notice any difference right now, but let's say, for example, I decide to speak in a higher register, also known as falsetto. Even in singing, when you use the higher registers, it's referred to as falsetto. Falsetto can also be used when people are speaking, which does not sound very nice. Let me give you an example. And when you hear me speak like this, think about in your own mind what kind of messages are being conveyed, because that's really the key here. The kinds of messages that are being conveyed. These are important when it comes to the communication aspect of our voice. So once again, here is my regular speaking register. But if I have to change it up, and if I have to talk to you like this is going to sound really different. Can you hear the change in my voice? Imagine if I went around and I spoke like this. How do you think people would perceive me? I think I sound really rushed and really anxious. just by me speaking from a higher register. That was quite funny. I tried to hold down the laughter as long as I could, but you're going to find with the rest of the exercises we do today, I'm just going to try not to laugh. I'm going to try, but I can't guarantee it. Okay, so that was an example of register. My regular speaking register, then I went into a higher one, and you can even speak from a very low register, a very low sort of more chest voice. Now, for a lot of people, this may not be very comfortable. It tends to come very naturally to males. Sorry, I couldn't keep going. You get the picture, okay? It comes very naturally to males because they, by nature, have a lower tone kind of voice. The advice I would give you here when it comes to your register is to always try and speak from a natural speaking sort of tone, a medium in between register, not speaking too high and not speaking too low if that is not comfortable for you. I think the best way to put it would be to speak from a register that comes from deep within you, that comes from diaphragmatic breathing while you speak, really from your chest. You want to be speaking from here, not from here and not from here. Nasal, I mean, that really sounds the worst. So if you can speak from deep within your chest, not from your nose, and not from your throat either, I don't think you can go wrong there with your register. You want to just make sure that it's coming from deep and you're breathing well, taking nice deep breaths while you are speaking as well. On to the next one, which is timbre. Now, this might be a little bit difficult to try and define, to try and explain, because it's something more that I would say you feel. If I could describe timbre, it would be compared to a delicious hot chocolate. You want the voice to sound smooth, silky, warm, almost like a bit of texture when you speak. Now, to some people, this comes totally naturally, the very lucky ones, and you are just gifted with this lovely, smooth, silky, sensual, dare I say, sexy kind of voice. But the majority of us are not. Thankfully, it is something that you can learn, something that you can train your voice to sort of sound like. A sort of switch, if you would, that you could turn off and on. The first person that comes to mind when I think of a good timbre is this chick that I listen to on YouTube. She has a little cooking channel where they do these shorts, and it almost sounds like she has extra saliva in her mouth because the way that she speaks just makes the food sound so delicious. As she talks about creating the food and making the food, she's got this like really gorgeous timbre. It almost makes you want to like salivate, and then when she tries out the food, it makes it sound and seem so much more delicious. This is an example of good timbre. I hope you understand what this one means, and then you can try and implement that. Try practicing and make yourself sound smoother and silkier just for the fun of it. See what your timbre sounds like. For this next one, the term is called prosody, but for the longest time I could just not put my finger on it. Like, what is this thing that I hear so often with people, not only in their speaking voice, but also when they are singing? The correct term is prosody, referring to when someone sounds very monotone. If you hear it in singing, it sounds like the person just doesn't have any musical tune, like it's almost as if they are speaking, not singing. And with a person, when they are speaking, You hear it very much like a robot with no change in their dialect. This is called prosody. It just sounds really, really monotone. And I don't even have to demonstrate for you with singing. I'm sure you must have heard people that can't not just hold a tune, but it's like the tune is non-existent when they sing. Something else very common when it comes to prosody is also, I've noticed people speaking and ending sentences with a very high pitch, almost as if they're asking a question, but they apply this to every single sentence that they speak. So to give you an example, if I were to ask you a question or several questions, it would sound something like, hello, how are you? How can I help you? Can you hear that bit of higher pitched tone at the end? So now, a lot of people are starting to speak like this, even just in general, adding on that high pitched question mark sounding sound at the end of every sentence. Can you hear how silly it sounds? This is referring to prosody. And with all of the different things that I'm discussing today when it comes to vocals, again, disclaimer, please don't feel like you are being made fun of if you pick up any of these little things in your voice. I am actually going to be very vulnerable today and share with you what are my vocal hiccups and discrepancies in my voice and tone that I have picked up myself. The good thing is once you become aware of those things, you can then go on to change it whenever you see it come up in your voice. It's not like it's just, oh, you know what's your vocal issue and then it's done. You never make that mistake again. We as individuals are prone to making these same mistakes because they are habits that we have picked up, and we have to unlearn those bad habits and learn the new skill of learning to speak better. Moving on to our next one. This one is pretty easy to understand. I'm referring to pace. With our pace refers to how slow or fast we speak. With this as well, I had to learn to slow down my speech just a little bit so that I don't get my words mumbled. So, to give you an example, if I had to speak really fast, this is what exactly it would sound like, and I'm very, very more now this way prone to blah, blah, blah. You see, you are so much more prone to just mumbling and messing up your words if your pace when you speak is too fast. On the other hand, conversely, if I have to slow down my pace, like how I am speaking now, if I have to take a breath here and there in between while I'm speaking to you, it makes it so much easier. Now, don't slow down too much where it just becomes weird, but at the same time, don't be afraid to embrace the silence. It's absolutely weird if somebody doesn't know how to do that. It can become actually uncomfortable, and you want to learn to be comfortable with those little bits of silence. If anything, you can be able to master that for yourself and actually practice that when you're speaking to other people. You're going to find that your voice sounds a lot more relaxed. You will actually feel more relaxed, and when you're speaking, your train of thought is a lot clearer. The link between here and here, what you're thinking and what you're speaking, you're less likely to say the wrong things or miscommunicate if you just slow down the pace and embrace the silence. Not be afraid of those little milliseconds in between of a bit of silence. It actually helps you be taken more seriously by people with just slowing down your pace a bit. So the next one is your pitch. This one is very similar to your register, the one I started talking about initially. Register and pitch, very similar. Same example. If I have to speak like this, it sounds very weird. My tone, sorry, I mean my pitch is very high. Do you see how easy it is for me to mess up what I'm saying and lose my train of thought? The other thing with pitch is that it makes you sound very aggressive if you are too loud and almost like forceful. This is the little bit of mine that I wanted to share with you guys about where I have to learn. I say have to, not had to as in past tense, because it's still something on an ongoing basis that I need to be aware of. I have a tendency to not speak in a higher pitched voice necessarily, but it can go slightly high where I might not be aware of it. Now I'm learning to bring that awareness back to myself. But this comes off almost forceful where I'm very loud and it can convey aggression. It's coupled with the next one, which I'm going to go on to, which is our volume. So the pitch and volume can go hand in hand with making you sound very tough, aggressive, controlling. And I have to watch this for myself in my own vocals. When I pick this up for myself, I have to remind myself to just calm down, speak slower, speak a bit softer, and just a bit more gentle. That helps me get my train of thought going better. It helps me convey my message a bit better, and I find that it helps the other person that I'm speaking to not just shut off or get scared like this person is angry. So these little vocal bumps or vocal hiccups, each individual will have to deal with for themselves. One person is different to the next. Your vocal issues will be different to the next individual. So that's why it's important to understand these things for yourself. Bring awareness to it and see how you can then change those things. The last one here is volume, which is pretty self-explanatory. Think of a TV. When you turn the volume up, it sounds louder. When you turn the volume down, it goes softer. It's the exact same thing with our voice. So for myself, which I just explained how my pitch can go a bit higher and my volume can go a bit up, this combined is what can make me sound aggressive. In the moment when I become aware of this, I am able to make the change. Now that you have become aware of this and now you can recognize these different things, you want to pick that up in your voice. Am I now sounding really loud? Has my pitch now become too high? Or conversely, even if your pitch goes too low, what is going on inside your mind when your vocals are making these shifts and changes? That can also be a good indication for you to see areas that need work, not just with your vocals, but remember, here we also work on the mental dialogue. So what is going on inside in your mental dialogue that is making you feel you need to speak in this certain way? Are you feeling scared? Are you feeling aggressive? Are you feeling threatened? All of these things will help you see which areas need work, not on your vocals, but also on your mental dialogue, your thought patterns, and your mindset as well. So you may have heard of vocal warm-ups. Vocal warm-ups, especially before giving a speech and singing, right? But let me tell you, warming up your voice can even help with the previous things that we've just discussed. Warming up your voice can help you to actually feel more confident before you go out on that job interview or ask that person on a date. So let's go over a few quick exercises that can help you warm up. Again, I am going to try not to laugh, but I can't guarantee that. Let's go. So for the first one, you're going to put your arms up and you're going to sigh loudly as you drop them. Are you ready? Let's do one more. Number 2 is to warm up your lips. So we're going to make a sound like B, P, O, H. B, B, B. And let's do that repetitively. B, 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 B. Another thing I like to do with this one is just the actual lips without making the sound. So it sounds a bit like... That sounds funny. So, okay, well, all of these sound funny, but let's just go with it. You'll start to feel a little bit of tingling because of the vibration that this causes when you are now warming up your lips. The next one is a BRRR, like a burr sound, but we're going to use this more exaggerated. So if you can remember, like when you were a kid, for example, and you were maybe playing with a car, the kind of sound that you would make. So it would sound something like... Again, we're keeping with warming up the lips here. Let's go again. It's so funny just seeing myself in the camera, making these sounds. With this sound, you can also increase and decrease your pitch and volume. So feel free if you want to go a bit further with this exercise. I'll give you a quick example, increasing and decreasing the pitch. And then decreasing would be... Don't say I don't love you guys doing these crazy exercises to teach you on YouTube. Next up, we're going to make the sound la, but we're going to do it again very exaggerated and repetitive. We're going to do it a little bit louder as well. Now we're moving on to warming up the tongue. So it's going to sound like la, 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 la. Next, you're going to roll on the tongue. You may be familiar with this one. It's quite a common one. You're just going to make an R sound repetitively, but focusing on the tongue. Let's go. Oh, that one feels so weird. Okay, and the last one is a sound like a siren. Just embrace your inner child here. Remember when we would maybe imitate an ambulance or something like that when we were little? You're going to make the sound saying wee-oh, like a siren. Let's try it. Wee-oo, 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 wee-oo. Okay, and that is it. I think I am done with the sounds for today. Keep on practicing these ones to help your vocals, your mouth, your lips, your tongue all warm up, and also to build some confidence. I know sometimes it's difficult when we have to make these sounds, especially in front of people. Like when I would have students come in, they would be so shy to try and do these vocal exercises. It really pushes you out of your comfort zone. So even better if you have to do these exercises when you are at home with other people around. Let them hear you. Push past out of that comfort zone. Be able to laugh at yourself and see how that also starts to build up some confidence for you. Sure, so that was a lot of exercises, my beautiful divas. You have plenty to now keep you going. It's going to help build up your confidence. It's going to help you recognize these areas where you're going to need work on improving in your own vocals. And you're going to be having a laugh. Well, I've had a good laugh while we've been doing these exercises, so it really is the best medicine. Don't feel afraid and don't be shy to just laugh it off if you need to. Now, in the comment section, let us know which were your favorite exercises, which ones didn't you like, which ones maybe made you laugh the most. Go ahead and share with us. I'd love some feedback and we can all learn from each other. So if you enjoyed the kind of exercises and techniques that we learned in today's video, you're definitely going to enjoy the beautiful course that I have put together for you. It's called Learn How to Sing, Vocal Training, and it takes you through all the way from the beginner level to the intermediate, all the way to the advanced level. So it doesn't matter which level of vocal ability you are on your singing journey, anyone and everyone can benefit from this type of course. Transform your vocals and build your self-esteem. All the details in the description box below. In my next video, we're going to be making a yummy concoction. I don't know about you, but after all of that vocal work, I could really do with some self-care. So let's have some chill time, go play around in my kitchen, and we're going to explore my garden as well. There I'm going to teach you a little mindfulness exercise that you will thoroughly enjoy. So I will see you there in that next video. Until then, my divas, stay awesome.